The Welcome to the Show podcast is independently produced by me, CT, and Manny Gomez. Help people find our show by taking 2 minutes to leave a 5-star rating and review wherever you listen. Thank you. All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. The Welcome to the Show podcast, your favorite podcast. I know it. Manny knows it. Manny, say what's up to the fans.
What's up?
What's good, man?
I'm good, man. Things are rolling along here. We have some CT. We have some announcements, CT.
Okay.
All right. The Welcome to the Show Sports and Pop Culture blog and podcast network, CT, is expanding. Starting this week on Wednesday, the Hot Heads podcast, a fantasy football podcast, is going to join the Welcome to the Show podcast network. So make sure that you check out their next episode, which drops again this Wednesday. And we're going to put a link in the description for you guys to be able to find it easily. So if you want really good fantasy football content, you know, what should you do with your fantasy football team week to week? Who should you buy? Who should you sell? So on and so forth. Make sure you check these guys out. Last announcement, CT. Let me just play audio to introduce this really quick.
Jharrel. I feel like I should just be in the Bronx right now, chilling, waiting for my mom's cooking or something. But I'm here in front of my inspirations. I'm here in front of people who I'm so motivated by. And the reason I'm here is because of actors like the people I was in the category with. I have to thank my mom, who's with me today, my beautiful mother. I couldn't do it without her. My dad, Sierra, Titi, Malay, Tariq, Mama, Papa, te quiero. Of course, Ava, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Netflix, my team, Perry, Emily, Jen, UTA, everybody. Jordan, I know you out there. But most importantly, this is for the men that we know as the Exonerated Five. It's for Raymond, Yusuf, Antoine, Kevin, and King Corey Wise.
All right, so the voice you just heard there was Jerome. He's a Dominican-American from the Bronx. He becomes the first Afro-Latino to win an Emmy Award for his performance in When They See Us, which is about the Exonerated Five, formerly known as the Central Park Five. Definitely check out that show on Netflix. It was amazing. And I'm very proud of this young man for taking home an Emmy and representing Dominicans from New York especially. We're going to discuss this more in this upcoming episode of the Replay podcast on Friday. So make sure you guys subscribe to that as well. CT.
Nice. So wait, he was the first Dominican-born actor or Dominican-American actor? Or
so he's Dominican-American. He's like us. He was born in New York City, grew up in the Bronx. I think he still lives there. I believe he went to LaGuardia, which my niece Isabel goes to. Shout out to Isabel. And yeah, man, first Afro-Latino to win an Emmy for his performance. So
nice. Huge
accomplishment and great representation. He was also in Moonlight. I don't know if you saw Moonlight, but it won the Oscar about 3 or 4 years ago. He's a really good actor, and his performance in the show is out of this world. So definitely check it out.
What's Moonlight about?
Moonlight is about a young man from Miami who grows up in a pretty broken household. He gets taken under the wing of this drug dealer. It turns out that the young man is gay in a tough neighborhood in Miami. He falls in love with another young man, and as they grow up, they kind of go their own separate ways, but they meet again later on in life. It's a really, really good movie. It won the Oscar for Best Picture. I think it was 2016, I think it was, or 2017 maybe. But definitely a really good movie. I would check that out too.
Now let me ask you something, Manny.
Yo.
And be honest.
Give
it to me straight.
Gotcha.
Right? Is it bad that I have no interest in watching that movie?
No.
Or When They See Us?
It's not bad for Moon Knight. It's okay if you don't watch it. I think it's a really good movie, but I understand if you don't want to invest 2 hours in that kind of movie because it is pretty serious. It is, but it's a really good, really well shot movie. The director's amazing, acting is amazing.
You know what it is? I feel like I've always watched movies to be entertained, not to be like, for me to watch something serious, I might as well just watch a documentary. And I'm not saying there's no place for serious movies in the world. Obviously, they're important and they people have a lot of success with them. But I don't know what it is, man. Is that wrong? Is that wrong?
There's nothing wrong with that. And when they see us, that one I would say is worth the investment because it's really well made. It's based on a true story, and it's kind of relevant to the times. And the thing, though, is that I will tell you about when they see us, is that I walked away. I got the sniffle still. Sorry, people. With two feelings. I walked away with two feelings. One, I felt angry because our justice system and so on and so forth is so broken, and it still is. So that made me angry. And two, I walked away feeling like, especially with Jerome, his performance was so out of this world that it was kind of inspiring. You're just like, oh my God, like he really went in on this character and he did such a good job. And then to find out that he's Dominican to top it off, that he's from the Bronx, that he's from, New York City. That was, to me, that was awesome. That was an awesome feeling. So if only for that, to see this kid's performance, check it out. And it's worth it. It's a good show. It's well shot. And it's a true story.
I'm going to do it, man.
Do it.
I'll watch it.
Do it for me. Do it for the kids. Do it for Dominicans.
All right, everybody. We're back with sports. I'm going to reel this one back in.
Let's go back.
Guys, we're going to start off with some baseball talk, as always. We're probably going to skip over the NBA talk because I don't know what's going on with the NBA. I haven't heard anything. I don't know if Manny has. Maybe he has.
Yeah.
He'll let us know.
I'll tell you. Let's do NBA first since it's only going to take us 30 seconds. Are you ready?
Okay.
So there's nothing happening in the NBA, one. The only thing that I saw today that piqued any kind of interest in me was that the Nets are remodeling their arena. It's going to include subway tiles, and it's going to be gray. That's all I got for you guys. On to baseball.
Is it just me? Let's talk about that Nets remodeling. They're going to have subway tiles? What does that mean exactly? Like subway tiles on the tunnels or subway tiles on the court?
I'm not exactly sure what they mean by subway tiles, but there are different types of subway tiles. You have the tiles that when you go to New York City subways, up on the wall, you'll see they're like rectangular. They're not like, I'm trying to, they're placed like an alternate. You know what I'm saying? It looks like brick kind of, but it's tile. I don't know where exactly. I don't think that tile is going to be on the floor because I don't think you could play basketball on tile. But there's going to be subway tiles somewhere. I'm guessing somewhere around the arena, maybe around the perimeter. I'm not sure.
The Nets are setting the net. Go ahead.
But the court itself is going to be wood, like all courts are, but it's going to be gray.
Yeah, the Nets are setting themselves. The Nets are setting themselves up for failure, man. First of all, New York subways are ugly.
Some of them are really nice. Like there's some train stations that are beautiful, but aside from that, I hate the fucking. I can't stand it.
No, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like New York teams, they never try to be too New York, right? Like Madison Square Garden.
The Nets are trying too hard.
Yeah, the Nets are trying too hard, man. Like Madison Square Garden just is Madison Square Garden. It's a part of New York. It's like a thing. It's not like, oh, we're Madison Square Garden. Let's run the George Washington Bridge through our arena or something and show you guys how New York we are. I don't know if I'm just being a hater, man, but
that's your boy. Your boy had part ownership of that team.
He had no say in this. There's no way he had a say in this. I'm gonna look it up. But anyways, guys, that was NBA talk.
Now that we're on Jay-Z really quick, and we have this is gonna be the longest podcast because we're going off target, course a lot. My wife brought something up Saturday night that made me wonder. we were watching. So we had nothing to watch. We're all caught up on TV or whatever. It was like 11 o'clock. The kids went to bed late, and we throw on Netflix. Can't think of what to watch. We decide to watch, of all things, the R. Kelly documentary. Yeah, I know.
Oh, I'll watch that.
I had no idea that R. Kelly married Aaliyah when she was 15 years old, and he was like 28 years old or something like that. And they lied on the Yeah, they got married. They show the marriage certificate. She said she was 18 on it, but she was really 15.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that. No, I had no idea.
Wow,
I knew they
that
were
was
married,
like the first.
but I thought she was 18.
Why he wrote the song "Age Is Nothing But a Number."
Right.
For her.
Yeah. Exactly. So anyway, then she brought this little number up, and it got me to thinking. At first, I dismissed it immediately. I said, no way.
I know what you're gonna say.
Jay-Z and Beyonce. He's significantly older than she is. And was Destiny's Child under Rock Nation, under his label?
No, I don't think they were. I think they were under White Clefs.
Okay.
I gotta look that up actually. But what's your point, Manny?
Then she started Googling that her and Jay-Z met when she was 18. But I just find it kind of suspicious that it was 18. You know what I mean? Like that was like too, I was 18. Yeah, that's what you say when you get pulled over. You're 17 years old and you had too much to drink. Oh yes, officer, I'm 18.
Yeah, I think he actually met her when she was 18, and I think he liked her since then. But I don't think he made a move till she was like in her early 20s.
Okay, I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just saying, like,
nah. I mean, there was rumors that he used to get with Foxy Brown when he had her on the track "Ain't No," right?
Yeah. Yep.
And she was 16 at the time, so there was rumors of that, but she's denied it. He's denied it. There was rumors that he actually used to get with Aaliyah before she married Dame Dash. She was also very young, but not underage. She was just young compared to Jay-Z, I guess. And yeah, this whole Beyonce thing, man. But what can you say, man? Big pimpin'.
I'm gonna do a little more research on this, and we may or may not be onto something here, which could be America's largest scandal.
Nah.
And happens to be your favorite rapper of all time.
All right.
I'm going to bring him down. All right, moving on.
And anyways, guys, that was NBA and a little bit of entertainment, I guess, or a little bit of scandal news or something. Whatever we just did there, that's the end of it. Let's move on to the MLB. All right. MLB headlines since the last time we spoke. Let's see here. Tim Anderson, White Sox shortstop. White Sox superstar shortstop, I would say at this point, because he's pretty good. Quote, the game is boring. End quote. We're going to get into that. Since the beginning of baseball history through 1990, 22 teams have finished the season with at least 200 home runs. This year, 23 teams have at least 200 home runs. And I think I read that the Cardinals might be team number 24 by the end of the week if they can hit four more home runs. Royals manager Ned Yost to retire at the end of the season. Mike Matheny, special advisor, might be the next man up. Ned Yost had a 22-9 postseason record, back-to-back AL pennant, and 2015 World Series champion. Mm-hmm. On the other side of that, the Padres fired their manager, Andy Green, still had 2 years left on his contract. I think we can shed some light on that as well, talk a little bit about that. Mm-hmm. As far as playoffs, the Astros clinched, the Yankees clinched, the Cardinals clinched, and the Braves have also clinched. The Astros, third straight division title, Yankees first division title since 2012, and the Braves get their back-to-back division title, first time since I guess they went on all those runs back in the 90s. Mm-hmm. I forgot what the last year, and that must have been like 2001 or 2000 something.
More than that.
I don't know.
It was like 13 years or something.
No, I'm saying the last year that they won it back to back.
Gotcha.
What year? Do you know what year that was? Off the top of
I'm
your
not
head?
sure. I'm not sure.
Okay.
It has to be in the mid 90s. It has to be like 96, 97, something like that. When they had Glavine, Maddox, and Smoltz.
Yeah. And the MLB ties the record for most 100 loss teams with 100 losses and teams with 100 wins. So I don't know what that says about the competition these days. I personally think super teams are a real thing in baseball now, where there's just other teams that cannot compete, and also at the same time, teams are trying to tank. Nelson Cruz becomes the third player, 39 or older, to hit 40 home runs in a season. And Trey Mancini and Corey Seager are this week's AL and NL players of the week, respectively.
Word.
And I would like my co-host Manny to just play a quick audio of possibly this year's Cy Young. I don't know anymore. Maybe DeGrom has it. But Hee-Yoon Ryu hitting a home run. Korean. I was going to say Korean announcers.
노려봤어요. 센터 쪽으로 갑니다. 우중간으로. 예.
I like the laughing guy.
통산 첫 번째 홈런이라고 합니다. 오늘은 그날이네요. 다저 스타디움에서 류현진이 드디어 쏘아 올렸습니다.
Nice.
Man, those guys were pumped.
They were pumped, man. We need more American announcers like this, man.
Yes. So that pretty much wraps it up for headlines since the last time we spoke. Manny, anything you want to jump into?
Just wanted to add a couple of things to this list, CT. I have a few more headlines.
Okay.
It's not official yet, but it's looking like Joe Madden and the Cubs are going to be parting ways at the end of the season. They're saying that bench coach Mark Loretta might be the next Cubs manager. I'll be surprised if that happens. You mentioned the Nelson Cruz home run, the 40th home run. Listen to the company that he joined when he hit that home run. He joins Barry Bonds and Hank Aaron as the only hitters aged 39 or older to hit 40 or more home runs in a season. That's fucking crazy. And Pete Alonso becomes the first rookie to hit 50 home runs and 30 doubles in a single season. And then you also mentioned about the 100-loss, 100-win teams. I don't think any more teams are going to lose more than 100 games this year unless if somebody goes on, loses every single game the rest of the way. Either way, I think it's not possible. But the 100-win teams, it's the Yankees, the Astros, the Dodgers. Who else has 100 wins? Is that it?
Yankees, Astros, Dodgers, and I think the Braves could have been.
Braves. No, the Braves don't have it yet. Could be.
No, they don't have it yet, but they could be. They need 4 more wins, and there's like 7 games left.
Right, and the Twins have 96 wins too, and if the A's win out, I think they could win 100 wins too. So I agree with you. I think that there's like the haves and have-nots of baseball. Like you're either super, super good or you're not that good. I think there's very few teams in the middle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Although the playoff race this year was a little more entertaining, I feel like since we last spoke, some teams broke away. I feel like the NL is pretty set at this point. The American League, I think the Indians and the A's could battle it out, or is it the Rays or whatever, those 3 teams. But other than that, it seems like the playoff brackets are pretty set.
Right now, the Rays are tied with Cleveland for the second wild card spot, and I think the Rays are about to face off with Boston.
Nice.
So I think after that they face off with the Yankees. So I honestly think it's done. The Rays are over, man.
Well, the Yankees probably want home field advantage, especially after some stats came out this weekend. The Houston Astros are 60-21 at home. I think that's the best record in baseball. The Yankees, however, haven't lost a home series since early April. So we're talking about probably the 2 best home teams. They're going to want to secure home field advantage. So I think in some ways both teams are playing for something. I think the Yankees and the Astros actually play each other coming up. I might be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
I actually think Houston's playing. I know Houston has to face off against they're playing Seattle tomorrow.
Okay.
And I think they have to face off with the Angels again before the season ends.
Thank you for not quoting me on that.
Don't quote me on that because I'm not sure as well. But yeah, man, I see Cleveland here is facing off against the White Sox tomorrow. So I know the Rays are facing off against the Yankees starting tomorrow. So
yeah, there's a 2-game series. Hate those. So stupid. Anyway, 2-game series between the Rays and the Yankees, and then they play the Texas Rangers. So I think the Yankees will show up to play the Rays in Tampa. But I feel like that weekend series against the Rangers is going to be kind of a joke. You're going to see a lot of people sitting down, resting, so on and so forth. There is one more headline that we forgot, CT, and that was that the Yankees honored CC Sabathia this past weekend. Some tears were shed. It was an emotional farewell, but he did say, "I'll see you in the postseason." So it sounds like he might have a postseason roster secured, and I think he should.
Well, actually,
they're
they're moving him to the bullpen for the postseason.
Okay.
Did you not hear about this?
This sounds like, to me, this reminds me of the year 2000 David Cohn, and it's a good move. I wrote an article about it. Go check it out on Call to the Pen.
Can we be realistic real quick, Manny?
Yo.
Put your Yankee fandom aside.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, did it.
That was pretty quick, man. I'm guessing there's not a lot of it to put aside. Anyways, why is CC on the playoff roster, man? Come on.
I honestly, so I did write an article about this on Call to the Pen, saying the title of it was "The Reason Why CC Sabathia Deserves a Playoff Roster is David Cohn." And in the year 2000, David Cohn had probably one of the worst regular seasons you could ever imagine. He had like a 6-something ERA. He was terrible. People were questioning whether or not he should be rostered for the postseason. And Joe Torre decided, let's put him in the postseason. Let's put him in the roster, but he came out of the bullpen. And in Game 4 of the World Series against the Mets, he faced off against Mike Piazza. The Yankees were winning 3-2. He represented the tying home run. It was the best season of Piazza's career, 2000. And nobody in the right mind would consider to put David Cohn in after the year that he had. But he had the presence of mind, and this is why I think veteran pitchers are important in some ways, is that he had the presence of mind to go after him. He knew exactly how he had to pitch him, and it's just one hitter. Put everything you got to that one hitter, get that one out, and one out can make all the difference, and it did. He got him out, they won the game, and they went on to win the World Series. And maybe CC could do something like that for the Yankees.
Well, if Dellin Betances hadn't gone down, would CC still be in the roster? If both Dellin Betances and Domingo Germán are available?
That's a good point. I'm not sure. I don't know who else is on the roster, but I think there's some other arms in there that they're not so confident in. Cortez, who was really good coming out of that opener role earlier this year, but he's sucked ever since. Tarpley, there's some arms in there that don't give you so much confidence, but neither does CC. But he does have the years. He is a veteran. He's been there before. He's an important clubhouse presence. Something tells me he would have been in the roster regardless. But I might be wrong.
All right, man. If you say so.
Thanks for just taking my word for it. Can I bring my Yankee fandom back?
Yeah, I just want to say, man, like, I just feel like there isn't room for CC. If he's not going to make an appearance, don't put him in the roster.
Hey.
And I don't see how he makes an appearance in the postseason.
Hey, cut it out.
All right, guys, we're going to move on now. I want to talk about the Tim Anderson article on Bleacher Report.
Uh-huh.
Now, I told Manny before we started recording, don't you just hate when Bleacher Report releases these long-ass articles with a lot of fluff in between of, like, stuff that people said and what they really meant and how we interpret it and this and that? Like, we get it, Bleacher Report. If I have to scroll 20 times to get to the end of the article, don't upload it. I'm scrolling for days over here. But anyways.
And the main point of the article is this. Here's the quote. "I don't watch baseball. I just love to play it, though. But it's boring to watch it."
All right, cool, Tim Anderson. Do you think you're helping the cause of baseball being boring by saying that it's boring?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Let me read some other quotes. Ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to be in my Tim Anderson voice. When I step in between the lines, I'm different, he said. I want to be that guy you don't want to play against. You play for the White Sox, first of all, so I'm pretty sure a lot of people want to play against you. It's not you. It's the team you play for. It's a team sport. But anyways, back to being Tim Anderson. I don't want you to want to play against me because my goal is to go out and crush you every night. This isn't basketball. You're not Michael Jordan. Quote, so I don't really care about who on the other side. They strap on their cleats just like I do. So when I'm going to go out and compete, man. Yeah, I can't read this. So when I'm going to go out and compete, man, we playing a competing game. This ain't no friendly game. So I take every game and compete at a high level, you know? I think that's what I owe myself. It's just to go out and play hard every day and do my best and have fun with it. First of all, baseball is a friendly game, man. Stop trying to make us like the gridiron where we're at each other's throats and we are trying to injure the other player to remove them from the other game. Baseball is like a... I always thought of baseball as kind of like the line between contact competitive sports and like tennis and golf and all those other sports. We're like right in the middle, you know? Like I feel like it's an outdoors game. It's a summer game. It's a game where you chew sunflower seeds and bubble gum and spit and spank each other on the ass. So it is like a friendly game, right?
Yeah.
Is that just me?
No.
Have I been doing baseball wrong all these years? And should I really have been trying to hurl my bat over at the other team in hatred because I want to beat them that bad? But anyways, I gotta feel some type of way when players keep saying that baseball's boring or this and that. First of all, man, like what makes baseball fun is good players, and you're a good player. Your game is gonna speak for itself. I don't need Mike Trout to, go out there and show me anything else on the field to show me that he's good or I guess what I'm saying is that Mike Trout's game speaks for itself and everyone's game will speak for themselves and baseball fans will appreciate it. For you to say that baseball's boring to watch, I can't think of any. I don't even watch football games with the same focus as I watch the last 2 minutes or the last 10 minutes, unless it's the team that I'm looking to watch. Basketball's another one. I can't picture myself watching 3/4 of basketball. I'm only interested in the last 10 minutes or 5 minutes of the game. So why do people always got to come bash baseball? Like I don't know.
So I actually tweeted about this. I wasn't as offended by Tim Anderson's comments because when we compare baseball to other sports, yeah, it's a completely different animal. There's a different pace to it. It can take 3, 4, 5. It could take 6 hours depending on the game. If it's a Red Sox Yankees game, it's going to be long as hell. And there's some things about the game that for a generation of people that are growing up and they want instant gratification and they want to see the flashy star doing the awesome thing all the time. It's not really the game for that, because whereas in the NBA, LeBron James can touch the ball for, half of the game pretty much. Anytime his team has possession, he's going to touch the ball. In baseball, you're going to have to wait around for your favorite player to hit, or you're going to have to wait around for your favorite player to get a ball to make a play on, and so on and so forth. I get it. But that's why I think that baseball needs to work more toward changing the game a little bit. And I don't mean changing how the game is played, but rather making these stars more accessible, making it so that people feel more inclined to turn on a game. And maybe it's miking up players in the outfield. I feel like that, or miking up somebody in the dugout or something like that. I think that works really well when we've seen that in the All-Star games and so on and so forth. Or like Alex Rodriguez had mentioned in his podcast, letting people see their favorite hitter take BP, or if you like pitchers, letting letting people see your favorite pitcher warming up in the bullpen, or talking about what he's doing as he's warming up in the bullpen, and so on and so forth. Make people more accessible, make the game more fun. If somebody hits a home run, let him do his bat flip. If somebody strikes somebody out in a big moment, let him pump his fists and curse him out and do whatever. You just have to, loosen the reins a little bit, make the game more fun.
But see, this is what I'm talking about though, because I don't feel like the other sports are that much more entertaining to watch. It's the highlights that are entertaining. It's LeBron James doing the windmill dunk in a fast break for the 1 second in the game that he got to do it. If he was doing that every play, yeah, I'll understand your point.
No, you're right. But there's the chance. There's the chance that LeBron James is going to do something special at any given moment. Whereas in baseball, I always, like I said, when Alex Rodriguez was with the Yankees, even if I didn't watch the entire game, when Alex Rodriguez was up to bat, I always watched it because it was A-Rod. But most of the time, hitters fail 70% of the time if you're a good hitter. So most of the time he was failing. So not only do I have to wait to see him get an opportunity to do something, then 70% of the time that I do watch him do something, it's not going to be that special. And then of those 30% of the time that he does do something special, maybe 1% of the time or less than that, it's something that you've never seen before. You know what I mean? So it's like chess. You know what I mean? It's like yeah.
But you see, that's what I'm trying to say though. Like I'm trying to make a point where people say the game is boring, right? But we can't just add a shot clock to baseball. That's not baseball.
No. Okay, I got you.
Right?
Yeah.
We can't just. First of all, what do players want? No one's stopping you from flipping the bat and acting like a total however you want to act. That's up to, if the pitcher's gonna throw at you, guess what? He can always say, no, I didn't mean to peg him. It just so happens the ball got away from you. MLB is not gonna fine you for taunting or anything. I actually think we're the only sport that won't fine a player for taunting, right? So you can taunt, you can flip your bats, you can wear your custom cleats or anything except black cleats via Flyers. So what I'm asking is what more do we give the what more do we do to baseball to make it fun where without actually changing the sport of baseball? Like I feel like at this point the only way we can make it fun is if we do add some sort of pitch clock that's enforced and we give these batters aluminum bats or something. Like I don't know, like
I think a pitch clock would be good. I think they should do that for sure. Enforce it. It is a rule in baseball, but it's not enforced. And I think access. I think those two things alone would make a huge difference. More access to these players. I mean, how many times do we watch, all-star games and they have a player mic'd up in the outfield and everybody, you go on Twitter, everybody's ranting and raving about how awesome it is that you could hear them talk to each other and he's bullshitting and this and that or whatever. Why not? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. I feel like I'm a pretty common baseball fan, and it doesn't really do anything for me to hear these guys in the outfield. Sometimes it's kind of awkward.
Or like I'm repeating myself, but A-Rod's idea. You wouldn't watch, say, Albert Pujols in his prime if MLB tweeted out Albert Pujols' BP is going to be available on the MLB app. You wouldn't check it out?
Yeah, but we're catering to already baseball fans. Tim Anderson's point is that we need to cater to non-baseball fans, and not just non-baseball fans, black non-baseball fans. That's what Tim Anderson's point is. My question is, what is your solution to that without actually changing the fabric of the game, which is like, and what I'm saying is like without actually inserting forced pitch clock, which I agree could probably work, but I can imagine that's never going to happen. What is the solution? And again, these other sports, I never found it entertaining to watch a full basketball game unless it's the playoffs. And let's be honest, playoff baseball is just as entertaining as NBA playoffs, if not more entertaining.
I agree.
So we're going back to the highlights being the main thing, and the highlights again are only a couple seconds of the game. It's Steph Curry like shooting lights out, which I guarantee. Which actually I agree that's actually as entertaining as hell. When Steph Curry has like a 10 for 12 3-point game or something, it is entertaining. When the Warriors are running the floor and are unstoppable, that is entertaining. But what do NBA fans say about the Warriors? They hate them because it's a dynasty team. It's a team filled with 4 All-Stars. Oh, they got Kevin Durant. That's not fair. But they're entertaining as hell to watch. So I honestly think all this stuff is bullshit. Tim Anderson just wants to say something, and I really don't think you can find me. It's like, what's entertaining about watching an offense in football go 3 and out on every drive?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, there's boring aspects to every sport. The highlights kind of separate it, but I honestly think the highlights are what they are. Like, baseball fans are going to like baseball highlights. Basketball fans are going to like their highlights and all the extra drama that comes along with NBA and so on and so forth. Like, I really don't see what can be done. It just is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what could be done at this point has already been done. I think I think, like you said, a pitch clock would be good. I think more access would be good, and maybe even shortening the season would be good. I mean, let's be real. I love baseball, but it is a long season. We're talking, there were games being played on March 28th. It's already the end of September. That's like 6 months, 5 or 6 months, and we still haven't gotten to the postseason. And,
Well, the length,
we always say, there is nothing like, for me, there's nothing like the postseason in baseball, because the series are so short. There's only so many teams get in. And you know what? I'm willing to add another round if you have to, and shorten the regular season. Maybe start the postseason, mid-September.
Yeah, I would actually be okay with that. I'm not gonna lie.
Why not, man? Let 2 more teams in. Bug it. Do a wild card round, then move on to the divisional round. Although the teams that win the division is going to be sitting around for a long time, but whatever.
What else should we talk about when it comes to the world of baseball?
Of pelota?
Yeah. Man.
Doop.
Tim Anderson kind of took the whole baseball spotlight with that article.
I mean, I think that it's almost the end of the season. Things are winding down. I think the only thing, well, actually, I wrote a piece on Call to the Pen last week that blew up, and I want to see what your take on it is. So the title of the piece was 5 trades that could transform a franchise. And I want to go over it with you. Let me know what you think, CT, whether you agree, disagree, or if you have any other players you want to add to the list. First, let me find it. Beep, 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 beep. Here it is. 5 bold MLB trades that can transform a franchise. So the first one I said is Mookie Betts. Mm-hmm. I think that the Red Sox should consider trading Mookie Betts. And here are some teams that I think they could make deals with. A, the San Diego Padres. Last offseason, they added third baseman Manny Machado. They gave him $300 million. The season before that, they added Eric Hosmer. They called up Fernando Tatis. He looks like the real deal. Chris Paddock looks like the real deal. And they only have $92 million committed in salary. So they can pay him his arbitration money. He's probably going to get close to $30 million. And they can afford to extend him if they want to. Or if not, then the Red Sox could try to get him back afterwards. They also happen to have pitching prospects, and I think they have one of the top farms in baseball. The other team is the San Francisco Giants. They only have $111 million committed in salary, and they're in desperate need of an outfielder. In return, you can get Will Smith, who's been a really good reliever, and I believe they have a couple of They have a couple of prospects, but their farm system isn't that great. What do you think?
I think I'd rather trade him to the Padres I'm looking for like 3 close to MLB ready prospects. And when I mean close, I mean by next season they'll be up in May, maybe.
So they have, I think they have 3. I think they actually have 3 prospects. The biggest one is lefty pitcher Mackenzie Gore, who's I think he's pretty big league ready already.
Yeah, he is.
The next one is Noah Syndergaard. So I think that so prior to the season they were talking about trading him. At the trade deadline they were talking about trading him, and now with the whole situation with Wilson Ramos, something tells me that something's not quite clicking between the Mets and Noah Syndergaard. And you know what? So I have some stats here that kind of make a case for Noah Syndergaard not wanting to pitch to Wilson Ramos. This was last week that I wrote this, so the stats aren't updated to his most recent start. In 15 starts with Ramos, Syndergaard's ERA is 5.09. In 10 starts with Thomas Nido, his ERA drops to 2.45. So I can understand why he doesn't want to pitch to Wilson Ramos. But regardless, here are some teams that he can go to. The Houston Astros, they only have $148 million committed. They're way under the salary, the luxury tax threshold.
Okay, can you imagine?
Oh my God, it wouldn't be fair. But anyway, he could go to the Astros, and in return, the Mets could get Josh Reddick. That's not that big of a deal. But what's attractive about it is that he only has 1 year left at $13 million. And they could also get back all of these fucking big league ready pitching that they have in their farm system because the Astros are fucking ridiculous and they're going to be good for the next, decade, century.
Yeah, seriously.
Or they can trade him to the Cincinnati Reds, who only have $63 million committed in payroll. They already have Luis Castillo. Sonny Gray is looking like Sonny Gray again. And I think they have one of the top systems in baseball, the 6th ranked farm system in baseball. So they could get back a ton of prospects. And the fucking Reds would probably be the best team in the NL Central with that pitching staff.
Yeah.
Which one is more realistic for you?
The Astros.
Yeah, right? Come on. Can you imagine that?
I feel like the Astros could do whatever they want.
Jesus Christ.
Cuz like they have guys in the minors that aren't in the majors basically because they already have a stacked major league lineup.
It's ridiculous.
Like Kyle Tucker, if not for like the emergence of like Yordan Alvarez and like having George Springer up and all that stuff, like he probably would have been called up this year, but he just got called up a couple weeks ago when the rosters expanded. But he's pretty solid. Like, there's a bunch of players that they have in the minors that are not going to be called up because there's nowhere to put them.
Insane, man. Insane.
And we thought the Yankees farm system was good, and it is good. Don't get me wrong. But I think the Astros are just I don't know, man. I don't know what they are.
That's a whole new level.
Yeah.
And the thing too is that Garrett Cole is going to be a free agent. They could, if he could walk away, and they could, say they pull off this trade with Noah Syndergaard, he's going to become the next best pitcher in fucking baseball because whatever the fuck they do in Houston works. So I don't know.
Yep.
All right. The next one is, this one might shock you, CT. The next one is Nolan Arenado. They just gave him that huge extension last year. And I know that this isn't even rumored or talked about or whatever, but something tells me that they might regret it a little bit. Not because of the type of player he is. He's like the ideal player for a team. But they kind of took a step back this year. They're tied to him to the tune of $32.5 million a year. And they could get a lot in return for a guy like Nolan Arenado. Like the Cardinals. They could trade him to the Cardinals for someone like Matt Carpenter and just completely deplete their farm system. They have a third baseman already called Nolan Gorman. They would have another Nolan. So they could do something like that. So they would get rid of salary. They'd get back a decent player, Matt Carpenter, who might turn it around in Colorado. And I think he only has 1 year left in his contract. And they could get prospects in return. Or maybe they could do something to the Phillies, let's say, who they don't have such a good farm system, but they have a good third baseman in their system called Alec Bohm. Or Baum, I don't know, Bohm. Look him up. But anyway, the benefits of that is they'd get a prospect in return, so their future would be good, and they wouldn't have to pay him so much money. What do you think?
I don't see that happening. I mean, I'm looking over here. The Rockies scored 805 runs so far this season. Right now, that puts them. Looks like it's put them in the top 10 in all of Major League Baseball, at least top 12. I'm gonna just do a quick count. Looking through this, I'm just gonna do a quick count. It looks like it would put them in the top 10 in baseball for runs scored, but their pitching has given up so many runs. Their pitching took a step back. Really, that's what took a step back this year. So I feel like they're one pitcher away from maybe being contenders next year. I don't know. I could see it happening. I know they play in Colorado, and that's a big reason why maybe they score a lot of runs and also give up a lot of runs, but they weren't this bad last year, man. Yeah.
So I know that Colorado was an expansion team in the 90s, early 90s maybe. I'm not sure what the fan base is like out there, but they should just consider moving that team, man, because pitching is never going to work in Colorado, or make it a fucking dome. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane up there. I don't even know if that would work with the fucking elements. Anyway,
I don't think it will, because I think it's being at a high elevation. It's being at that high.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
They would have to add some sort of like gravity thing in there. I don't know what. Like, I don't know what they got to do. Add extra air pressure somehow.
Yeah.
Because I think the problem is that the air is so thin up there, and the balls just like carry. There's nothing. There's no air resistance stopping the ball.
All right, let's do two more, and then we'll move on to the NFL. So the next one is Chris Bryant, who's been rumored in trade talks also all season. So I think I heard somewhere, but I couldn't find the source that there could have been possibly a deal for Chris Bryant for Noah Syndergaard or something like that. I'm not sure. I don't even know if that really makes sense. It might make sense because the Mets could use a third baseman, but it doesn't make sense because I don't know. It's like trading the same player, swapping because they're in the same kind of level arbitration wise, so on and so forth. It's almost like I don't know. I don't even know if it makes sense. Yeah. But anyway, here's what I think, and now you're gonna say this guy is a fucking joke. Well, first off, the Phillies and the Cardinals for the same reason as Nolan Arenado, and now I'm gonna toss in the New York Yankees. And this is who I think they can give the Cubs for Chris Bryant, and that I'm as a Yankees fan, I'm willing to give up. I'm willing to give them Miguel Andujar to replace him at third base. You can also have Estevan Florial. Go ahead, keep him, and I'll give you Davey. What's his name? Davey Garcia. Is that his name? The rookie pitcher.
Yeah.
And we'll take on his. I'll take his money. We'll pay him his arbitration, and you can have these three prospects worth nothing. What do you think?
What player is this again?
Chris Bryant.
Nah, man, I don't see that happening.
You don't want it to happen, or you don't see it happening?
Nah, I just don't see it happening. I mean, I really don't even see the Yankees ever making a trade for a superstar ever. Like,
okay,
if it requires
you've changed
them
your
to
tune because last year you were on board that the Yankees are still the Yankees of old, and they're gonna sign all these people.
Wrong. I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong.
All right, and here's the last one, CT. This one might blow your mind.
Well,
Mike Trout.
Let me just let me just finish that point. I really don't see the Yankees ever making a trade for a guy that would require like top flight talent in multiple. Like you're talking about Andujar, which let's be honest, I don't know if he's top flight, but the Yankees could afford to give him away. So I'll give you Andujar, but Florial and Garcia, nah, I don't see that happening. That's two top talent. I feel like the Yankees are greedy still, and they wouldn't make that trade unless they can give the Cubs like, you know, a 2025 draft pick and maybe like Andujar and his little brother or something. I don't know.
All right, fine. All right.
By the way,
last
real quick, sorry. The Rockies are 9th in the league in runs scored, but 2nd in the league in runs given up by their pitchers. So,
wow. That's that stadium. And if we had more time to do some research, I bet that trend has probably been, you know, the same since they started. Because, I mean, how many Colorado Rockies pitchers can you think of that reached elite status?
I mean, elite.
Marquez is decent, but aside from Marquez.
Well, that's the thing. When you say elite, are we talking about would he be elite on another team or just elite, like elite anywhere?
Elite on his team, on the Colorado Rockies. Elite for the Rockies.
Elite for by Rocky standards or
no.
That's
like
what I'm asking.
like someone that you would, you know, draft in the first round of maybe not second, third round of an MLB fantasy draft because you know he's going to put up a ton of points.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they've had that yet, but again, their pitching was pretty good not good, but by Rocky standards, I feel like they had some pretty good. I feel like they had some pretty good pitching last year.
The only pitchers that I can think of, aside from German Marquez, was Mike Hampton back in the day, and he wasn't even that good, and he was a ground ball pitcher. And Ubaldo Jimenez when he broke into the league, he was a beast for a minute there.
The 1 year where he had like 12 strikeouts in one game, and everyone was like, Ubaldo.
Yeah. And then look at him now. But anyway, let's move on. The last one is Mike Trout, who I think he deserves the contract that he got from the Angels, which is 35.5 annual average value over 12 years. But like I said before, I think that this contract is going to be like Alex Rodriguez to the Texas Rangers. It's going to hold the Angels down for a minute. So here's what especially considering that they still owe Albert Pujols another year at almost $30 million next year. So if they want to win a World Series, it's not going to happen next year. They're going to have to wait, you know, at least 2 years. And at that point, you know, who knows what Mike Trout's going to be. He might not be the same player. He's still going to be elite, but he might not be this Mike Trout. Anyway, here's who I think Mike Trout can go to. Padres and the Giants for the same reasons that I said about Mookie Betts. And then I'm throwing in two big money teams. Although I'm gonna eliminate the Yankees because in hindsight, I'm like that was kind of stupid. The Dodgers. Hear me out here. The Dodgers are a team that's not afraid to spend a lot of money, and next year they're only committed $123 million, way under the luxury tax threshold so far. That's not including all these, they're going to have to re-sign people and stuff, arbitration players and shit. That's going to go up, but either way, they're below. They can trade to the Angels someone like Jock Peterson, who's arbitration eligible, hits home runs. He's an okay player, and he only made $5 million last year. So if he gets $10 million next year, it's a lot. I don't think he's going to get that much. Plus, they have three top prospects already in their farm systems, MLB-ready prospects. Send them over to to the Angels. Get back Mike Trout. What do you think? Take all the salary, all that stuff.
I could actually see this happening just because it's so much money, and it could honestly like break the bank for the Angels. So I could actually see that happening. But him going to the Dodgers, what I'm saying is I can picture them trading Trout eventually, just not to the Dodgers, unfortunately.
Really?
I mean, it's the same city. That's like the Mets and the Yankees making a trade. And even though I think it's stupid that they don't trade, because honestly, the Mets could use some prospects and the Yankees would happily take some like Noah Syndergaard. I just don't see the Angels trading him to the Dodgers. But that would be crazy if it happened. So I'm not against it. I do see them trading him eventually, not to the Dodgers though.
Now, I want you to notice a trend before we move on to football. All these players, there was a lot of big name teams that were mentioned. I had mentioned the Giants, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Phillies, all-time great teams,
Astros.
right? Astros. What's one team you didn't hear there?
The Red Sox.
Ooh, that must hurt. And I think it's because
I'm not trying
to step on you or troll you. I kind of am a little bit. But you guys are so fucked for the next few years. I can't even.
But we won the World Series. That's it. I'm tired of this conversation. We won the World Series just last year. All right.
Okay.
Can you repeat that for me real quick? Who won the World Series last year?
The Boston. We may not win for the next decade. Red Sox.
That's probably what you said in 2004. That's probably what you said in 2007. That's probably what you said in 2013. I know nobody thought the Red Sox would win in 2018.
Oh,
matter of fact,
Here we go.
Matter of fact, once the Yankees went to the ALCS 2017 and they got Stanton the season afterwards, I can go back on our fantasy baseball chat and find a bunch of claims about the Yankees this and Yankees that. Red Sox winning the World Series was nowhere in nobody's vocabulary. It wasn't even in my vocabulary.
It was in my vocabulary.
Even though I cracked a couple jokes about it. But come on, man. We just won the World Series, all right? Kill that noise.
It was in my vocabulary. Go back. I said the Red Sox were the team to beat all year last year.
Team to beat does not mean team to win the World Series.
That's what it means to me. They're the team to beat. Like this year, for me, the Astros are the team to beat.
In the postseason,
you beat the Astros, you're winning the World Series. That's my take.
Let's go back a little bit. When you say a team is the team to beat, at the time, the context you were saying it was they were the team to beat for the division.
So I think the Red Sox last year. I thought the Red Sox were the best team in baseball. They were going to be the team of destiny. Oh, go back.
I don't care.
We can go back. I even said it on this podcast. Go back.
You know what? If I find time in my busy schedule to go back and actually find when you said the Red Sox were the best team in baseball, I'll happily say that I was wrong. But I guarantee that sentence doesn't exist in a text anywhere, and it doesn't exist in a podcast anywhere. All right. So let's cut the shit because we won it in 2000. Less than a year ago, we won the World Series. All right. So I don't care that we're not
in
included.
WhatsApp. If you do a search word and then comma and then another search word, will it find it?
I'm not sure.
Damn. Get on that Facebook.
Get on that Facebook? Oh, because Facebook owns WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Man, that was some good baseball talk, man. But of course, you had to take that low jab, man. You had to hit me in the gut. Hit me in the gut with that.
God damn. I switched my phone. Yeah.
Real quick before we move on to football, is there any team you see surprising you and sneaking into that second wild card spot, National League and American League? I say there is no surprise. The teams that we're looking at now are the teams. What do you think?
I think in the National League it's pretty set, although
Yeah.
I think it would be, as a Yankees fan, this is crazy to say, but I think it would be fun to see the Mets make it, although I don't think that's not going to happen. The chances of that are very slim.
Yeah.
In the American League, wait a minute. Oh, it's Tampa and Cleveland are tied. I think I said this last week. I'm not really scared of Cleveland. I think Tampa's going to take it. So I'm with you.
Well, I think Cleveland's going to take it, and it's funny how last week we said Milwaukee wouldn't be that second wild card team, and now it looks like they are going to be that second wild card team.
What the fuck, man? Whoever faces
the
Milwaukee, man,
yeah,
they're lucky.
yeah.
Anyway,
Watch us be wrong. Watch us be wrong about
Yeah.
that too, and they just sweep the Cardinals or something like. Or
Yeah, watch them win the World
They would be
Series.
facing it. They would be facing the Dodgers, so that's probably not going to happen. Anyways, let's transition into the NFL. Guys, to be honest with you, the headlines in the NFL, we probably all know what they are. I'm just going to go through some NFL scores real quick, man, if you would allow me.
be my guest while I search for the times that I said the Red Sox were the team to beat.
You're not going to find it. Oh, but team to beat. Again, wait, sorry, guys. We're in the NFL section, but if you didn't listen to the baseball section, I'm just going to restate this. Saying that the Red Sox are the team to beat, yeah, I remember you saying that. But that's not saying that they would be the World Series champions. Anyways, back to the NFL scores for Week 3. And just to remind everyone, the Bears and the Redskins are playing tonight. as
Stop
we record
Bears.
this.
Sorry.
Anyways, the Jaguars beat the Titans 27 on Thursday Night Football. Cowboys beat the Dolphins. No shocker there, 31-6. The Buffalo Bills, undefeated.
Boo.
The undefeated Buffalo Bills edged out the Bengals.
Easy schedule
21-17.
so far.
We have the Patriots in our division, so I don't want to hear it because
You haven't faced them yet,
we will though, twice.
and you'll lose.
Guaranteed. The Philadelphia Eagles lose to the Detroit Lions 27-24. The New England Patriots have beaten the Jets 30-14. The Indianapolis Colts beat the Falcons 27-24. The Minnesota Vikings beat the Raiders 34-14. God, the Raiders, man, I guess the Raiders have fallen out of headlines now because I guess people expect them to be bad, and that whole John Gruden thing kind of died out, and AB's not there anymore. But anyways,
Yep.
The Chiefs beat the Ravens 33-28. That game was crazy. I don't know if you watched it.
Nope.
The Green Bay Packers beat the Denver Broncos 27-16. The Panthers beat the Cardinals with their backup quarterback 38-20. And the New York Giants beat the Buccaneers 32-31. That was a pretty
Let's
interesting game.
go. Can I give you a quick fact about that win, really
Yeah.
quick? The
Go ahead,
Giants
man. Take your
18 point. Yeah, the 18-point comeback against the Tampa Bay Bucks was their largest comeback in 49 years. Let's go Giants. Woo!
49 years?
49 years, according to Fox Sports NFL on Twitter.
Wow. The New Orleans Saints, with their backup quarterback, beat the Seahawks 33-27. Russell Wilson, after he got that money, can he still get it done? I don't know. The Texans beat the Chargers 27-20. Chargers looking like a disappointing season so far. The 49ers beat the Steelers 24-20. The Rams beat the Browns 20-13. The Browns are looking horrible this year. And as I mentioned before, the Bears will face off with the Redskins as we record this. So who knows what the outcome of that game is going to be. I just want to say something real quick, Manny.
Bears are going to win that game. Yeah, go ahead.
The Buffalo Bills are great. Back to you.
All right, whatever. Here's all I have to say. The Giants were the story this week, CT. And that's it. That's all you need to know. For a good
Let's
reason
talk
and a bad
about-
reason.
let's talk about the Giants real quick. So they lose Saquon Barkley now for 4 to 8 weeks with a high ankle sprain. So I watched a good amount of that game, and honestly, the Giants defense sucks, man.
Oh my God, it's fucking terrible. They could actually be a decent team if they had just a fucking average defense. They could be decent.
Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna lie, Daniel Jones looked pretty. Daniel Jones didn't look like a rookie quarterback in that sense, I guess. I mean, it is the Buccaneers, but I was impressed with what Daniel Jones was able to do. He throws a pretty good football, right?
Yeah.
But immediately once they take the lead, it takes Jameis Winston, like, that's his name, right? Winston?
Yeah.
Takes him like it takes him like 2 plays to get into field goal range. I mean, Jesus Christ, man.
And that's the thing. That's why and I feel like that's why the Giants picked Daniel Jones, is because even though he didn't come from the big university or had the big flashy record, it's that he had experience, he had poise, he kind of looked like a veteran quarterback, as a rookie. And I think that's kind of what the Giants want in a quarterback. That's what they've always had. Kerry Collins was the same way in the early 2000s, late 90s. That's what Sims was back in the day. They've never had the Tom Brady or the big flashy Steve Young or Joe Montana's. It's always been just a guy who can get it done, the game manager who can get the plays done when it needs to be done. And it looks like Daniel Jones. It's only one game. I know that we're all getting ahead of ourselves, us Giants fans. I want to calm it down a little bit because who knows what's going to happen with this kid. But it looked good, and it felt good to see somebody who can make those types of plays yesterday. That being said, they were a field goal away from losing that game. So 18-point comeback, clutch. It was a missed field goal that won us the game at the end of the day.
Even if they had lost that game by the field goal, it doesn't take anything away from Daniel Jones putting them in a position to win, which is all a quarterback can do. I mean, the only thing he could have done better was get them in the position to win with less time on the clock. But let's be honest, let's not get greedy here, right? Yeah. He got the job done. The Giants defense didn't hold it, but lucked out that the kicker missed the field goal. That must be the worst, isn't it? For the game to come down to a kicker. I mean, I saw Jameis Winston right when the kicker missed, and the look on his face just like, oh, like, whatever. Like, nothing I can do about it.
He's a bust if you've ever seen a bust.
You think? Yeah,
he sucks,
man. In terms of where he got drafted, yeah, but I don't know too much about the Buccaneers to what team they put around him. I feel like I don't know anyone really on the Buccaneers besides like that middle linebacker they have, which the name is escaping me right now, but
that's what we're known for, guys. We forget names, especially when it comes to football. There's so many fucking people on the football team. I don't know how people remember these names.
First of all, I watch baseball, basketball, and football like the common fan does, which is mostly towards the end of the games. So let's be honest. You guys are not sitting there watching all 32 NFL teams, like going back to watch start to finish. So
here's the thing. And here's a shameless plug, CT. The reason why I really wanted Hotheads to join us, the Welcome to the Show podcast network, is because these guys know their fucking shit. And I'm just like, there are actually fans out there that could rattle off. Like, I'll listen to their podcast, and half of the time I'm like, I don't know who the fuck this guy is, but I'll go on my fantasy app, and they're on point. So, like, I can't personally, I can't do that. I'm like you. When it comes to baseball, I feel like I'm more intense in it because I have to be for my day job or whatever. I want to know what's going on, all the stats, all this, all that. But in football, 52 players on a team, 30 teams, that's too many people. I can't fucking. When I was a kid, here's a quick story, CT, and then you could take it off. When I was a kid, me and my best friend Gus, we were in a mall in Jersey. It wasn't Garden State Plaza. It's the other one in Paramus. What's that one called? I can't remember.
Paramus Mall?
Paramus Park? Paramus, one of those. Paramus malls.
Garden State Plaza?
Not Garden State Plaza. It was another one. It was on Route 4. Anyway, I'm going to lose people here. And here I am forgetting the names of we don't
remember anything, man.
I don't remember shit. But there was a wide receiver from the Giants walking around, and Gus recognized him. It was Ike Illiard. And I had no fucking clue that that's who he was. That's all I gotta say. That's kind of football for me in a nutshell. I like it. It's entertaining. The games are fun sometimes on TV. But if Saquon Barkley were to walk past me tomorrow on the streets, I probably wouldn't know that it was him.
I would actually know it's Saquon Barkley because his thighs are massive and his quads are massive and stuff. So I would be like, "Whoa, dude! Like, you notice that your
Saquon
jeans
Barkley.
are."
You have massive thighs. Are you Saquon Barkley?
No, I actually do know what he looks like, but a dead giveaway would be the thighs.
Yeah. Okay. Kind of game. Let's move
thighs,
on.
dude. 20-inch eyes.
Oh, CT.
Hey,
all right.
man.
The other thing that I found interesting this past weekend is that the Pats finally cut ties with Antonio Brown. And apparently Antonio Brown enrolled in school or some shit. And then he also vowed to never play in the NFL again. I'll believe it when I see it. But this little piece of audio, Jamel Hill posted it on Twitter, and I thought it was fucking epic. So I'm going to play it real quick. It's really quick. You're probably not going to get it by listening to it, but anyway, let's hear what it was.
I think I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, what was the final straw with Antonio Brown?
Yeah, we're focused on the Jets today.
Thank you, Coach.
So that was
God,
Dana
I love Bill
Jacobson
Belichick,
of CBS. I can't stand Bill Belichick. And she stopped him for a quick interview, asked him a question. He does what he does best, which is not answer questions. And she dismissed his ass. And from listening to it, it doesn't sound like it, but when you see her face, you guys have to go on Twitter and watch this. It was kind of like, okay, thanks. And he stood there like, okay, is there going to be another question? She was like, no, okay, thanks, bye. Now, like, I don't want to talk to you. And I fucking love that shit because, listen, I understand that you're a football coach and that this is your thing, that you don't want to answer questions about things that you don't want to talk about. But the fact of the matter is, you guys took on a player that has a shitload of, baggage on him, and those questions are going to be asked. So take your fucking, your head out of your ass and just answer the fucking questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I can't stand Bill Belichick's press conferences. They're the most annoying things in the world. He thinks he's holier than thou. Yes, you're a great fucking coach, the greatest coach in NFL history. I'll grant you all of that shit. But fuck, man, will you talk? Like, Jesus.
Can you? No, honestly, man, listen, I'm going to defend Bill Belichick. I'm a Bills fan, so you know that I would rather see the Patriots lose than win. But listen, Bill Belichick is who he is. He has not changed. He hasn't budged for anybody. For you to ask him about Antonio Brown, which he hasn't answered a question about while he was on the team, I'm talking about in the negative sense. Like, he might have answered a football question about Antonio Brown, but about all the off-field drama stuff, he hasn't answered a question about him since. For her to ask him that question one-on-one, she was trying to bait him into saying something, and she knew she wasn't going to get it. So what did she get? She got the obvious Bill Belichick answer. She was dumb for asking in the first place. Like, if she asked me that question and I was Bill Belichick, I would have been like, bitch, like, do you not know who I am? Like, why did you ask me this question? Do you want me to embarrass you in front of all these? That's how I would have handled it if I was Bill Belichick.
Okay.
But
I love
of course,
man.
people love to hate the Patriots, I guess. I don't hate the Patriots. And for anybody that hates Bill Belichick, you're telling me you wouldn't like Bill Belichick to be the head coach of the Giants?
Of course I would love it. But I mean,
you can't hate the guy, man.
We had a guy in Tom Coughlin who was known as a fucking drill sergeant, one of the toughest coaches in football. And he did his job and answered questions after the game, even if he didn't like the questions. You get paid millions of dollars to coach a football team, and part of your job is to answer questions at the end of games, before games, whenever the media stops you. Answer the goddamn questions. And
he answers.
And you know what? The media's job is to find out these types of things. So they're going to continue to ask the questions. And he's better suited just saying, we cut Antonio Brown, we don't condone any of the things, or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Give a fucking PC answer, a straightforward, written, lawyerly shit, whatever, and they're going to stop asking you. But if you keep avoiding it and just acting like a douchebag, this shit is just going to continue happening.
But that's my thing. He's always been a douchebag to reporters. You're going to ask him a question about dramatic Antonio Brown after they cut him? That's when you're gonna choose to answer the question. You knew the answer you were gonna get. So what?
But
what
they've been
whole...
asking him. Last week this happened too. The Boston media has been going to town on Bill Belichick, and he won't budge.
That's even less of a reason to ask him.
But then you're not doing your job.
What are you talking about? You could ask him about a million other football questions. You don't have to ask him about Antonio Brown. You'll get the answer when you get the answer, but it's Bill Belichick, man.
That's the story, though. Antonio Brown is the story. You made your bed by signing Antonio Brown, Now you have to lay in it. That's all I'm saying.
They cut him.
Yeah, so explain your reasons why.
Bill Belichick only answers questions that deal with the game ahead. What does Antonio Brown, what insight does asking about Antonio Brown give you about the game ahead?
How does your game plan change?
I'm not saying that Bill Belichick is right for not answering questions in the sense that he does. That's an opinion on its own. Like, I personally don't care. People can care yes or no if they want. But my thing is that he's been like that his whole life. And this lady asks him that ahead of the game. What answer did you think you were gonna get? Like, I get for no credit. I'm actually gonna be like, if I was the owner of her reporting newspaper, whatever the hell she reports for, I'd be like, why did you waste a question knowing that you wouldn't get the answer?
I loved it, man. And I say keep it going.
All right, man.
And you know what? He wins too, because then he doesn't have to answer questions because he's just gonna get dismissed.
Yeah, he probably loved it.
And fuck, man. While I'm bashing Bill Belichick, can he fucking stop ripping his sweat? He looks like a bum on the fucking in the sidelines. He looks like Darth Vader. Darth Vader ate like best cheeseburgers he's not trying to, all the time.
He's not trying to win like best dressed NFL coach or anything. So
I know, but he looks fucking horrible, man. Jesus,
I'm alright with it.
Okay, you should be a Pats fan.
Nah, man, I'm a Bills fan. I'm stuck with them. So Bills 2025, man, Super Bowl champs.
Okay. The last thing I have, and I'm not sure if you have something else, CT, is the Philadelphia Eagles. So not so much about the game, but I heard some audio on Twitter, and I wanted to play it because it cracked me up. So let's play it, and then we'll explain it.
I seen a guy hanging out the window, screaming that his kids was in there and things like that. So I ran to the back door, see if it was open, and it was. I ran upstairs, and then I was greeted with smoke. I ran back downstairs. By that time, the ladder truck was pulling up, and ironically, one of my old coworkers took the ladder off the truck, raised it up, and was assisting people down. My man just started throwing babies out the window. Wow. We was catching them, unlike Aguilar.
So that whole story that he described is about a fire in Philadelphia. They did this rescue, whatever. They were throwing babies out windows. He was catching them. And then he drops that one last quote at the end. He was throwing babies out the window, and we was catching them, unlike Aguilar, who's a player in the Eagles who caught 2 TDs yesterday, but he also dropped 2 passes and fumbled. This guy took the time out of rescuing babies from a burning building to take a shot at a player on the Philadelphia Eagles. That's Philadelphia for you, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable.
Yeah, man. Eagles fans doing some crazy shit. I've been to a couple Eagles games, and I've probably drank myself to the point that I didn't notice, but I always wear an Eagles jersey when I go to an Eagles game.
Oh, really? Yeah, no, it's insane, man. It's crazy.
Because, I even went to, get this. I went to a Bills. The first Eagles game I ever went to was a Bills versus Eagles game, and the first touchdown pass that Nelson Aguilar caught was at that game. Fun fact.
Oh, really?
And I wore a LaShawn McCoy jersey. He was on the Bills at the time, but I wore that jersey because I honestly had heard so many rumors that I would get killed if I wore another thing. But there were a lot of Bills fans that day. I should have just worn a Bills jersey. But yeah, I wore a Bills jersey. I wore an Eagles jersey.
This is a fan base that when they won the Super Bowl, they were eating horse shit.
That was like a couple. Yeah. That was.
They were plunking Santa Claus with snowballs one year. There's something else.
I actually went to the parade day in Philadelphia too, when they won the Super Bowl, man, and that shit was insane as well.
Oh, you did? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I have a friend that's a pretty big Eagles fan, and we stood. I was sandwiched between 2 guys for like a good part of 3 hours. Just to see a bus go by with Eagle players on it.
So you've been fortunate. Now that we're winding down on this episode, you've been fortunate enough to witness 4 Red Sox World Series, right? Is it 4? 2004, yes. 7, 13,
yep.
18.
It's 4.
Did you ever go up to Boston for a ticker tape? Well, that's a New York thing. A parade, a championship parade.
No.
Okay. So I went once. I think it was after the 99 World Series with the Yankees. Maybe it was 98. My sister, Jenny, went in 96. And I remember being disappointed because she cut school. She said she would take me. She told my mom and my dad. She said, listen, I'm going to cut school. I'm going to go to the Yankees parade. We're big baseball fans, so they were cool with it. And she's like, I'll take you or whatever. And I woke up the next morning and she was gone. And I was like really disappointed. But anyway, it must have been 98. My mom gave me permission to go to one of the ticker tape parades. So me and Gus went down, my best friend Gus. And it was fucking amazing, man. And you're right. You're just standing amongst this crowd of people. It was cold. And you just see a fucking bus drive by. You barely catch a glimpse of any of the players. But it's just being together with fans of your team. Everybody's happy. Everybody's excited. Can't wait to do that again this year.
I'm so happy you said that, man. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'll remember this episode. One last thing. Let's talk about Kyle Allen, the backup quarterback for the Panthers.
Yeah.
Four touchdown performance.
Yep.
In a win over the Cardinals. You stated before that he's looked good in 3 career games, coming in for Cam Newton. Is Cam Newton finished? I'll let you get your point in.
So, first off, I don't think he's finished. So there were some tweets that just came out. As a matter of fact, if you give me a second here, you're going to do some editing tonight, man. My bad. You don't have to edit this. So the Hotheads podcast actually retweeted this from Doug Farrar. Cam Newton's 2020 cap hit would be $21.2 million. Cam Newton's dead cap in 2020 if he's cut $2 million. So basically, the Panthers could save a lot of money if they cut Cam Newton. I don't think that's going to happen, but the way Kyle Allen played yesterday makes you wonder. And then it made me go onto NFL Reference or ProFootballReference.com. I typed in Kyle Allen's stats. He hasn't played that much, so take this into consideration. He's only had 57 pass attempts in his entire career. He's played in 3 games, parts of 2 games, and 1 entire game. But his passer rating in total is around 93.2, and he has a 68.4 completion percentage, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, 527 yards in those 57 attempts. If this is the real deal, he's going to get to play again next week because Cam Newton has already been ruled out. So they're going to play against the Tennessee Titans. If he has another epic game like this, the Panthers are going to have I don't know if it's so much of a tough choice to make, but some questions are going to be asked. I think it's going to be something that's going to be talked about. Is Cam Newton finished? Should Kyle Allen be the next quarterback for the Panthers? My quick answer is no. I think it's too soon. Cam Newton is too good. But a body like Cam Newton's taking all those hits, I can't see him playing for too long. It's just he's going to continue getting too hurt. He's getting older. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see Kyle Allen being the real deal. I mean, it was against the Cardinals.
Yeah,
I don't know if
true.
you know this, but
Truth.
The Cardinals are horrible.
Yeah.
But I do think
the
Panthers... I mean, the Titans aren't going to be that much greater.
Fact check.
Anyway.
They're playing Houston next week, not Tennessee. My bad.
The Texans?
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be a good test for him. But honestly, I don't see this being like the real deal. But I do think the Panthers should look at options for moving on from Cam Newton because I think you're right. He's taking too many hits.
He can't play, man. He's always hurt now.
Yeah, he was injured last year. He'll be injured this year for a good chunk of the season. So it sucks too because if this guy is healthy, I'm not saying he's a great quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback to have in your team. He's a superstar. Mm-hmm. His athleticism alone could probably win you games and stuff, but they should look into maybe drafting a quarterback next season. You know?
Yeah, quite possibly.
But Kyle Allen, I mean, that good for him though for having a good performance against the Cardinals. And but no, I don't see this being the real deal Holyfield.
Okay.
Just me though. What do I know about football?
Truth. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to check out the Hotheads podcast on Wednesday. We will link it in our description. Don't forget to check out the replay podcast on Friday, where we're going to revisit Superbad. And that's it. That's all I got, CT.
Guys, what can I say? That was the Welcome to the Show podcast.
We do big things.
We do big things. We talk baseball. We talk football. Sometimes we talk basketball, depending on what time of the year it is. One day you might tune in and catch us talking about movies.
Maybe.
And feelings.
Maybe.
And experiences.
Yep.
That's all I got to say, Manny.
Okay.
Anything you'd like to add before we sign off? One final time.
Nah, man. That's all I got, man. Take care now. Bye.
Listen, guys, one last thing I'm going to say. Listen, the Red Sox won the World Series in 2018. So anytime you hear if you're a Red Sox fan out there and someone wants to give you shit for this season, hit them with this. We won the World Series in 2018. When was the last time your team won it? And that's it. Period. Let's go Bills. Hopefully we beat the Patriots. And that's all I got to say.
All right, whatever. Yeah, okay. Bye. Let's go. Yankees. Danny Dimes.
Peace out. Peace out.